Heritage Foundation leader bashes World Economic Forum during Davos event. Rob, if you got this, the video to play, he is fantastic. Absolutely. If you have the clip, just play it. Oh, fantastic! Just go ahead and play the clip.
It's laughable that you would, or anyone would, describe Davos as protecting liberal democracy. It's standing up for it. It's equally laughable to use the word dictatorship at Davos and aim that at President Trump. In fact, I think that's absurd. But I'm going to step aside from that constructive criticism and instead answer your question.
Yep.
And I'm going to be substantive here. President Trump, if he's the next president, for that matter, I think whoever the next conservative president is going to take on the power of the elites, which I mentioned earlier. But the thing that I want to drive home here, the very reason that I'm here at Davos, is to explain to many people in this room and who are watching, with all due respect, nothing personal, but that you're part of the problem. Political elites tell the average people on 3 or 4 or 5 issues that the reality is X, when in fact reality is Y. Take immigration. Elites tell us that open borders and even illegal immigration are okay. The average person tells us in the United States that both rob them of the American way of life. They're right. President Trump will take that on behalf of the average American. Wow. Elites also tell us that public safety isn't a problem in big American cities. Just travel to New York or Washington or Dallas, Texas. The average person will tell you that the lack of public safety damages not just the American way of life, but their life. President Trump will take that on. Thirdly, I guess the favorite at the World Economic Forum is climate change. Elites tell us that we have this existential crisis with so-called climate change, so much so that climate alarmism is probably the greatest cause for mental health crisis in the world. The solutions, the average person know, based on climate change, are far worse and more harmful and cost more human lives, especially in Europe during the time that you need heating, than do the problems and the problems themselves. Fourth, 2 more here, Robin. The fourth, China. The #1 adversary, not just to the United States, but to free people on planet Earth. Not only do we at Davos not say that, we give the Chinese Communist Party a platform. Count on President Trump ending that nonsense. And fifth, as we sit here, another supranational organization, the World Health Organization, is discussing foisting gender ideology upon the global South. These are practices that are under review, if not being rejected, by countries in Northern Europe. The new president, especially if it's President Trump, will, as you like to say, trust the science. He will understand the basic biological reality of manhood and womanhood. And do you know why?
Wow. He is so
Not because
good.
of retribution, not because he's a dictator,
Fantastic.
but because he has the power of the American people behind him. And it's connected to Senator Portman's excellent point that in addition to needing a vigorous executive, we look forward to having the popular will inform both the House and Senate in 2025 to pass laws on all of those issues and many others.
Right there. So, Glenn, I got a question for you. So, question for you is, why would World Economic Forum have him? Give them the platform and Milei to say what they said.
So there are more elections this year than any other time in world history, okay? It's happening all over the world.
Is it like 60?
No, it's 42. 42% of people will be voting.
This year.
Oh, gotcha.
Largest Christian country, largest Muslim countries this year.
Yeah. So it's happening unlike ever before. It's falling apart on them, okay? People are starting to wake up all over the world, and it's falling apart. They need to take some of that stink off of them. And I think by having them and being invited to go speak, you look like, well, no, now wait a minute, you're kind of reasonable, okay? There were maybe 6 people that, because he gave a speech, there were maybe 6 people that clapped occasionally. Same thing with Javier. Just nobody is supporting in that room. Nobody is supporting that. But they look open to at least listening to common sense. And they're doing it at the same time they've taken global warming off #1, war, not #1 threat, economics, not #1. Their #1 is mis and disinformation. Okay? And they're saying, I mean, one of them said it, I think yesterday, that we control the science. We control the facts. That's ours. Wow, how arrogant is that?
Yeah.
Okay? They haven't changed at all, but they're changing faces. Just like, and I'd love to get your opinion on this. I saw a story. ESG is over. Bull crap. It will just be called something else.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Can I ask you one question about World Economic Forum? Essentially, what was the gentleman who gave that speech?
Heritage.
He's the president.
It starts with a K, Rob?
Find his name is great.
Kevin
Give him a
Roberts.
shout out. Kevin Roberts, you killed it. He's basically saying, the old "don't believe your lying eyes, nothing to see here" approach that Vinny was talking about. It's essentially the conversation that we have in this country with it's Wall Street versus Main Street. We all know who's in Davos. That's Wall Street.
Correct.
That's the big money. But when we get to Malay, and this is kind of goes to, I know that you can weigh in on this. There's an article out there in the Wall Street Journal. We can pull that up. It says, Argentina's Milei gives Davos crowd a spine transplant. Think about those words. He's basically saying, find your spine, Davos. And he says this in so many words. Talks about the threat of collectivism. And I'm going to throw some terms your way. He said the Western world is in danger of being co-opted by a vision of the world that leads to poverty. Now, however you call these collectivist variants, right? And he starts with the globalists, right? The global elite, openly communist, fascist, Nazis, socialists, social democrats, democratic Christians, neo-Keynesians, progressive, populist, nationalists, globalists, the global elites, whatever you want to call them. That is a pathway to poverty. So you know about what goes on in Europe, because Davos is in Europe, America, Western liberalism, totalitarian, socialism, Marxism. This is your wheelhouse. What do you think about what Milei said and what the
I think he's
actuality
absolutely right. This is, in America, they've been very, very good. And they're doing this in every country. The farmers, they're extremists.
Yeah.
Really, have you hung around the farmers? They're not extremists. In every country, they are painting people that disagree with the World Economic Forum as radicals.
Like the truck drivers in Canada.
Truck drivers, and they're crazy radicals.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
They're driving trucks.
So what people are missing is this isn't about Biden and Trump. That's why they like Trump so much, because they can make him the boogeyman and make us hate Democrats and they hate the Republicans. This is the elites versus the people all over the world. Brexit was the first real punch in the face for the elites.
Right.
I want to fly my flag. That doesn't mean I hate other countries, but I want to fly my flag. I don't want to be told I have to fly a rainbow flag. I don't hate anybody, but don't tell me what I have to believe. Don't tell me that there are 98 different genders. That's not scientific. And don't say the science is settled, because it's never settled. Science is never settled. What are you talking about? And so people have been pushed and pushed and pushed and called so many names. They're starting to stand up. And what I think the biggest surprise is going to come to the socialists and the communists that are all on the streets. They think that's what was going to happen. They'll be the first to be offed. Okay?
By who?
By whoever gets the power. Okay? Because the people that are Democrats that are in on this WEF thing, they're all in it for money and power. They're not in it for anything else. I don't think they believe in anything except their own superiority, that other people just don't get it. And I want money and power because I'll tell the world how to do it. They're the ranchers. We're the sheep or the cows that are kept in a pen and then slaughtered. This is all about collectivism, like he said and you said. But people think it's about democracy. They think it's about the Republicans versus the Democrats. No, it is about all of us, the majority of the world, saying, can you guys stop? I just want to live my life. I just want to live my life. And them saying, these people are too stupid. They'll never see it coming.
It's almost like it's professors versus the truckers. And the professors say, I know what's better for you. They're like, listen, I know how to drive a truck. But when it comes to Trump, they've kind of almost run out of all their bullets. They've done the racist thing and the chauvinist thing and every other racial epithet they could use for him. Now it's the threat to democracy
That's
thing.
why I said earlier, or started to say, I worry about the true believers of this craziness that will try to kill him because no other bullets work against him. You're out.
Yeah, they've done the legal stuff.
Right.
They've done the raids, the FBI.
All of it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
So, Glenn, are you, because we've talked about this multiple times with all this predictive programming that they keep shoving in our faces. It's almost as if they're warning us there's something to come. If they can't, because I mean, and I genuinely feel that in my heart, their number one thing, if they could take them out. If this was if this was JFK time and there wasn't more than one Zapruder, 1,000% they would have tried to take this guy out. So since that can't be accomplished, I'm saying there probably still is a window because, you know, if there's a will, there's a way. What else do you think that we've been talking about it, what they would have up their sleeve to keep people from going to vote? Would there be an event? Would there be something to just not let this thing happen?
I think that we're living at a time where we're on borrowed time.
Yep.
We have had so many black swans happen to us. And it amazes me because when I was in 2006, I was saying, storm is coming, this financial thing, it doesn't work. And they were all like, where did you get your degree? And I'm like, I can see it because I haven't studied what you studied. You believe in the system. I can look at it and go, these loans make no sense, okay? And we were hit in 2008, and I thought, well, that will really knock us down. Should have, but then they changed the rules of the game. But look at what this system has withstood. For almost 20 years, since 9/11, we have just been pounded over and over and over again. At some point, that thing is so rickety and has so many holes in it that a black swan event will collapse it. You have control now by the radicals of the top and the streets. They don't have the middle, but they have the top and the streets. And this is the way communists usually take over countries. There's an event. Everybody looks at that event, or it causes so much chaos that the bottom rises up in the streets, causes more chaos. The people in the middle go, somebody's got to make this stop. And the top comes down. That's what they have planned. And I think we are a war, a serious economic shock, a mass killing, a terrorist attack. That's when things will change. And I think there is the possibility, if it would be bad enough, there's a possibility that we're just told, like we were with COVID, stay at home.
Yep.
You're not going anywhere. Stay at home. I think we're on the edge of, we could have a dictatorship from either direction if we're not careful. We have to know the Constitution, know our rights, be God-loving, God-fearing, humble people that when something goes wrong, we do what we used to do, join hands with one another and say, brother, I'm here for you. We can get through this. But we're in a place to where I think really bad people in other countries know it. And that's why they'll attack. And when one of them attacks, they'll all attack because we're so weak. We have to be together as people to be able to survive. But I think we could be seeing a completely different country by January 1st.
Yeah, I don't know if I disagree. But, you know, for me, earlier today I was having a conversation with a few guys that were upstairs that were visiting town. And they said, what do you think is going to happen this year? I said, it's going to be a chaotic year. I've been saying 2024 is going to be the year of chaos. But also at the same time, here's what I told them. I said, every once in a while, you know, if you believe in God or if you believe in Scripture, you know, hey, it's free will. You know, why did that? But it's free will. You know, the choice is on you to choose what kind of a life. Why does God allow this to happen? It's free will. You know, you get to do whatever you want to do with your life, right? Free will. No problem. But I think every once in a while, God sits there and says, okay, you guys forgot I'm around? Like, did you really think I wasn't around?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, no problem. You know, I'm going to show you the power that I have and what I'll do. Every once in a while, I will flex and show my power. I don't know why sometimes weird teams win championships. I don't know why. I don't know why, you know, Brett Favre and Adrian Peterson, one of the top 5 greatest running backs of all time, had 3 fumbles that day. I don't know how many fumbles it was. Minnesota Vikings against the New Orleans Saints. And Brett Favre, they should have won that game. They lost in the last position or 2 minutes, whatever it was. And I'm watching a game. I remember exactly when I was at my sister's house. I'm watching. I'm like, what the hell just happened? They should have won the championship. But why did New Orleans win that year? It was the year of the hurricane, and the Saints won. Why would Saints?
Katrina.
Really? Katrina? You're going to make them win? Yeah. Huh. Interesting. This year, all the teams, LGBTQ, MLB, LGBTQ, LGBTQ. The only team that didn't cave to LGBTQ won the World Series? Seriously? The Texas Rangers? Yeah. You're joking, right? No. Maybe there are certain clues in life that we have to pay attention to. Maybe he's saying something to say, listen, if you truly claim you have faith and lead. If you truly are concerned about this, do your part. Like, pray like it's up to God, but work like it's up to you. Drive like it's up to you. Defend like it's up to you. Fight like it's up to you, but then pray like it's up to me. Okay? That's the part about faith, right? I don't know why. I think the level of people that would have never united with each other who are from different... Sean Strickland, I watched this guy, okay? This guy's asking him a question about LGBTQ, and he says, you would want your son to be this? He says, I don't care if I don't have a grandson. He's like, you're the effing problem. Wait, a UFC fighter that grew up with a tough upbringing that, the stories about him and his father, he's making more sense than an educated guy from Canada that's probably went to the right university. And this guy's getting more eyeballs and logic for people. No, I agree with this guy. There's something going on. We are finding each other. And when these guys find each other, the enemy fears what is possible. And they don't like people like us waking up. That's where my faith and confidence comes from. Because we all have a line that if you cross, we go from being, regular people to, like Jordan Peterson says, monsters and certain rage and certain, person comes out. I think that's the level we are right now. So if they do decide to repeat themselves and play that game, I don't think this time around everyone's going to be able to tolerate it.
I think the secret here is to be people that understand good versus evil, understand, live your faith, and be humble. I mean, I think we're just running out of opportunities to be humble. Look at all the time we spent today talking just about the election. The president's not going to solve this problem. He can help, but we have to solve this problem. We've given common sense and 5,000 years of solid, planning and lessons to learn on how societies work, and we've just allowed elitist intellectuals to tell us what the truth is when we all know that's not right. And we continue just to take it. And we continue to then go, oh, the Fed was wrong. Oh, but wait, they're going to fix it because they have this idea now? Okay, I was afraid. They can't fix it.
Yeah.
We are the ones.
And I love that you said that and you nailed it, Glenn. And this goes to, we were at church on Sunday. When you said it's us, it's no left and right. It's us against them. And I wrote this while we were in church, Pat. It was know where you're vulnerable. You know how they keep us all against each other, race, all this, that. Know where the vulnerability is. Fight with the right weapons. The sword of the Spirit, the Word of God. And the last one was get into the fight. We have to fight because they're fighting. And we have to get involved because what we're doing isn't a spectator sport.
I have to tell you that I am firmly convinced. I mean, I am currently working on things that I can do to keep my voice at least out of the digital ghetto in the next year because I am convinced these people, we're playing big ball here. This is, people die in movies with this kind of stuff. They kill them. If you have an event, people can disappear. They can easily shut you down. We are looking at the loss. It has to happen. They're serious about this. It has to happen for them to win. They have to silence powerful voices that disagree with the WEF and the state. And there's several articles. Look at the one. There were 2 articles from NBC this week that were terrifying. That were talking about how the elites know Science knows, the government knows, and there are many people. I mean, one of the articles, I think it was NBC's article, talks about how the MAGA people are just so vulnerable to mis and disinformation. And so we have to be the arbiters of truth. To hell you are, okay? Vulnerable. I know what you guys are doing. There was a story also came out today about the University of Rhode Island. They got into bed with DHS. DHS under Barack Obama came up with an anti-terror fund, and if you can help us find terrorists, so the University of Rhode Island, they wrote a paper for a grant and got into bed with DHS. In the paperwork asking for the grant and the partnership, they say, look, propaganda isn't bad. Propaganda happened in World War I and World War II, and we're in another kind of war with extremists that believe Donald Trump is right. They were the ones that were responsible mainly for these are extremists, these are radicals. They were pushing that propaganda out from the university. They're not screwing around.
Yep, they're playing to win. So we have to we have to too.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.